video recording? Awesome, great. So, hi everybody, my name is Candice Simpson. My pronouns are she and her. I'm the LGBT organizer for the North Carolina Coordinated Campaign, and I'm really excited to be down here today. You know, Shrija is the regional director for this office, Region 17, here in Raleigh and Wake County, and she interviewed me, actually, and when I told her I wanted to come down here specifically for the campaign in North Carolina, it was because of HB 2. It was this idea that transgender people are being made out to be perverse, immoral, and predatory, and that's this hypothetical cooked up in people's minds, that when we actually come down here and we show ourselves to people, I think that I'm a little bit cuter and a lot less threatening and way harder to deny than whatever is in people's minds. And that's how we're going to win people over, win over hearts, win over minds. Hillary Clinton is a great example of that. It's true, naysayers will say she hasn't always been for our cause. Well, when you dedicate 30 years of your life to public service and you actually go out and talk to people and you learn about their lives and you learn about their needs as she has done, you start to learn things about people and you ask questions like, how can I help you? How can I better understand you? And you take on new causes that are meaningful because you grow with the times and you grow with humanity. And that's what she has demonstrated. And if this is something the first family can do, it is something that an example is set for any family to do. Before I joined the campaign, I did a lot of trans activism myself. I am a transgender woman. And a father once said to me about his child, he said, a rock just can't turn into a tree. I said, well, of course not. If you mistake that seed for a rock and you throw it away, it won't turn into a tree. But if you give that seed some stable ground and you nurture it and you let it grow and blossom, it will definitely turn into a tree. And that's how we have to look at this, that acceptance should be the expectation rather than the exception. And more than ever, quite frankly, who we vote in will determine the future of coming out. So I'm really excited to be here today to introduce two wonderful friends of mine. First, we've got Candice Cox, who is a wonderful local advocate for the trans community. She is a graduate of NC State University in sociology, originally from Syracuse University. It's like, originally from Syracuse, New York, excuse me. Forgive me, Syracuse, New York. And I saw you doing that, and you threw me off. Sorry. I was on a roll. Sorry. Anywho, she has been an amazing advocate at the forefront of LGBT discussions, especially around HB 2 here in the state. She is a model, both role and fashion, and is an educator and discussion leader on trans issues, and is the first trans person to date, to gracefully engage Governor Pat McCrory on trans issues. And I wish I could say she brought him back from whatever planet he's on, but he remains lost along with billions of dollars in state revenue. And then I want to introduce Sarah McBride. And Sarah McBride is also an amazing trans advocate. She is a graduate of American University. She was the student body president there. And to give you an idea of just how prestigious being the president of student body president of American University is, that school only accepts student body presidents. She went on to be the first openly trans White House intern. She helped Delaware pass an inclusive non-discrimination act that included gender identity and sexual orientation. And now she's the National Press Secretary for the Human Rights Campaign, and also was the first openly trans person to address any major party's national convention, which she did on Thursday night, the same night Hillary spoke this past few months ago in Philadelphia. And I just want to end by saying, before I introduce Candice and Sarah to you, that we are going to go out, we are going to canvass, we are going to knock door by door to get Democrats out to vote. Like I said, the future of coming out depends upon who we vote in. And I'm just really excited to have them here. So I'm going to turn it over to Candice.
I lived up to things that people say about me. I don't see myself as anything. But my name is Candis, she and hers. This has just been such a phenomenal time in our lives, and I've just been so excited to be a part of it. It really is history that we're making right now. When we're talking about issues such as trans people being the first to do anything, and then we get to say Hillary Clinton is going to be the first woman to occupy the Oval Office. These are really historical moments, and the fact that we're on that side of history, that right side of history, is really amazing and impactful. What really warms me a lot, though, is when I get to see kids, because you guys matter so much to me, because you are going to grow up in a world where you've only known a black president and then a female president, and when you've only known that trans men and women and gender varying people actually are someone who can be respected, who can speak to the Democratic National Convention, who can win Emmys, who can be on primetime television, who can be elected officials, and who can do stuff. And that lets you guys know that when you're standing here, you can say, you know what? We are equal members and we have a voice and we're strong. And the fact that I just get to be a teeny tiny part of all of that is so humbling to me. And what I love more than anything is having someone like Hillary who is fighting for us. And I always get angry when people say, well, she hasn't always. And I tell people, you know what? Me either. I didn't wake up and know what trans was. I didn't wake up and know what it meant. I didn't wake up and know what we needed. I had to educate myself as I embarked on this journey. And every day, I learn something when I meet new people, when I meet new situations that I've encountered with. And to me, it is the true sign of a strong, intelligent person who says, I don't know something, but I'm willing to learn. And when I learn, it changes my impression and my thoughts on it. So that's what I would say to the naysayers, and I encourage you to do that. And the fact that I get to stand up here and then canvas today with someone who I think is truly phenomenal is so humbling. Such a blessing. And thank you so much for gracing North Carolina with your beautiful presence.
Oh,
thank you guys so much.
I don't want to take too long because I know we all want to get out to the doors. But thank you so much, Candice, and thank you so much, Hannah. It's really, really wonderful to be here. My name is Sarah McBride. I'm the National Press Secretary at the Human Rights Campaign, which is the nation's largest LGBTQ civil rights organization. 4 years ago, I came out as transgender, and at the time, I was scared. I worried that my dreams and my identity were mutually exclusive, and like so many others, I feared that this country wasn't big enough for people like me. Since then, though, I've seen that change is possible. As Hannah mentioned, I witnessed change in my home state of Delaware when we passed gender identity non-discrimination protections. I witnessed that change interning at the White House and seeing the greatest and most inclusive president we've ever had serve our nation. And I see that change every day in my own job at the Human Rights Campaign. Every election, we always hear that this is the most important election in our lifetime. But I think there's no question that whether this is the most important election in our lifetime, this is the most historic election in our lifetime. And that's not just because we're set to elect the first woman president of the United States this November. It's not just because we are facing the most unqualified and unfit candidate for president in our nation's history. It's because this November, particularly in this state, we are voting on what kind of country we are. It's not a choice between two positive but different ideological visions. It's a choice about our national identity. It's a choice about whether we will be a nation that says there's only one way to love, only one way to look, and only one way to live, or whether we'll be a nation that says everyone, myself, Hannah, Logan, Nikki, whether they can live openly and freely in this country. The eyes of the nation are on North Carolina because of HB 2, because you're probably the biggest battleground in this election. Everyone is watching. Everyone is looking to see whether The things they've heard over the last couple of years from Governor McCrory really represent the values of this state. And all of us here know that that's not who you are. We know that this is a state that leads the nation, that leads the South in equality. This is a state that is forward-looking, that believes in equality for every person. And so I'm confident that this November we're going to elect pro-equality candidates in this state up and down the ballot, from Roy Cooper to Hillary Clinton. And we're going to send a message that North Carolina does not tolerate the politics of bigotry, and that when trans voices are heard, when our allies stand firm, when LGBTQ people speak up, when businesses come to our side, that the politics of fear and division, the politics of discrimination and misinformation aren't effective. When we go out and we're going to knock on some doors, I want you to remember that every door we knock on, every call you make at another point, every vote we get, it's not just about who we support. It sends a powerful message. Every vote will send a powerful message to people all across this country. It'll send a powerful message to the immigrant who came here 10 or 15 years to build a better country. It'll send a powerful message to a woman who has big dreams but worries that she won't be respected in the office, that she can do anything she wants. It'll send a message to a young black boy that he doesn't have to fear walking down the street and facing violence. And it'll send a message to a little gay kid or a little trans kid that they can be respected and protected. It'll send a message to all of those people that this country sees them, that this country loves them, and that they are part of the beautiful diversity that already makes this country great. So remember that with every door you knock, with every vote you get, that you're not just electing a president, you're not just electing a governor, you're making clear to people who struggle every day that tomorrow can be better. So thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And together we're going to write history. Thank you all very much.
So thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Candice. Nick is going to lead us in some training right now. And I just want to remind you one more thing, and it's about bathrooms and about the idea of which bathroom that trans people like us belong in. And I just want to remind you as you knock on doors that the only person who has been accused of unwelcomingly entering a women's locker room is at the top of their ticket. So with that, Nick is going to lead us in some training. And thank you all for coming today, and let's win this because we're with her.